Welcome to my Starlight Scrap Heap, episode 3 of the playlist. In this episode, I'm going to go over some of the things I fixed here to make this place not so messed up. I'm going to go over these switches, because I encountered some problems when I built this. There's a lot of cool stuff to come in and informative stuff too. I want to cover a problem that I encountered building this, where I was facing the possibility of having to rebuild this entire thing because of one small thing that I did wrong. So I'm going to go over that and everything else that went into part 3 of the building of Starlight Scrap Heap coming up. What's up, guys? Darkdally here, and today we are back in Fallout 4 at my Starlight Scrap Heap settlement here at Starlight Drive-In. Now, you may have seen the first 2 parts of this series. They are all in the same playlist, and the previous ones will be linked in the description in this one, as well as in the top left-hand corner of the screen at the end if you haven't seen this settlement take shape. It's quite interesting. Here we are. This is out the back side of it. Now, I said I wanted to have kind of a piled freight container look, being that it's so close to a wrecked train. I figured the raiders, I kind of see my settlers as raiders. They're all dressed as raiders. This is kind of a junk raider settlement. I figured they would have salvaged the train and freight cars that they could and done what they could with them and used them to kind of fortify their structure a little bit. Now, this part here, this top part, this is all new. This is what I want to show you. This is the top part of my workshop and safe room and all that, and that's what I want to go into. There's some other things I want to go into in this video. I want to show you all the cool security I've got here, all the electronics wired up, and how it's really not that hard and how anyone could do it, and some cool ideas maybe. And also a big problem here I have to fix. I want to tackle that too. Something I encountered last night, and it was one of those oh shit moments. I have to rebuild this entire thing. Don't worry, I'm going to spare you that. We're going to get to that part. I'm going to time-lapse it and show you how to fix what seems like it could be an overwhelming problem. So without further ado, here's kind of the back side. Now, we want to check this out. Now, you've already seen some of it. If you watch this series, you've already seen some of it. When I was showing the remote, sorry, what was the name of that mod? Power doors, remote control, and lock. Very cool mod. I've made even more use of it here. Now, there's a lot more wiring than there was before. I've replaced my old turrets. I'm going to kind of bring you up to speed here on some of the other things I've done with the settlement. I've replaced my regular machine gun turrets with laser ones simply so that I could wire them. So I could, because I like to get attacked. I like defending against raids. It's one of my favorite things in the game, and it's one reason it is the reason I run the mod large settlement raids, because I love getting swamped by tons of guys. So I always like to have defenses I can turn on and off, so I can leave them off, so I have a lower defense, you know, right? So I've added, so they're still in the same places except with a new one over here, and I've got them wired up. There's a lot more wires around here, but I've tried to keep them kind of neat. This house apparently is the Brahmin's new house. He just loves it in there. It's really annoying. I wish I could get him out of there. And there will be a list of mods. There will be a link to my full list of mods and textures I use in the description. So check that out if you're curious. Wow, how does this Brahmin look like such a cute, cuddly cow and not a big, shaved... Anyway, I've also added a lot more crops, as you can see. I've added a lot more crops. I got more settlers here, and I have them all dressed up like raiders. It's kind of cool. And I've made room to make a lot more crops. I moved that wall out. Now, let's kind of see. Let's work towards... there's a lot more wiring here. I actually hit the what I call the wiring limit. I'm not sure if any of you guys know about it, but I do know it's now definitely a thing. This is the second time it's happened to me. The first time was on PS4, and it happened to be last night here on PC. So I know that there is some kind of soft cap to the amount of wires you can have. I say soft cap because you can save your game, load it, and continue placing wires. But be aware that if you get too many wires placed around, like I have here, it's going to stop letting you place them. And a simple save and reload will fix that, but you might run into it more and more. The game is not built for the amount of wiring I've done here. Now, this up here is still open. The reason being that there is the outside. This is the back side of my workshop out there, and there's a lot of wiring going on. And so I simply have, this is going to be walled off here, but it's not yet because I've been needing to have to access this for conduits. Now let's get to that a little bit here. So you guys may remember my hidden door I showed in my review of the mod Power Doors, Remote Control, and Lock. This is my secret hidden door into my top secret workshop. No one's allowed in there but me. And there's a hidden switch for it right up here. We just push this, and then it opens up my top secret little entrance. I really love that door. It's simply a boxcar door in conjunction with a hidden bookcase door. Both of these doors come from Homemaker, and I've wired them together with a 2-second delay in between for the cool little effect. That's how I've done that. Okay, and that's wired up with my standard logic gate thing there. This is the inside of my workshop. It's definitely starting to take shape now. Wow, I just saw some graphics pop in. I'm kind of done building here, which is good because my frames are right now running 50, and my frames started to drop, and I said, okay, I'm probably about done here. Now, there's two ways besides that, in and out of this. We have this boxcar door here, which allows you, through this switch, to go straight outside if for whatever reason you have to, and there's a switch on the outside as well. All of these circuits are controlled by the master control room up there, and that's where we're headed because that's what makes this place so safe and secure. And there's another little door out here that takes you out to... Actually, this door is currently locked by my security room up there, so I'll get to this door later, but this just kind of also allows you to go out there. Why the jail door? It's the same thinking as all the fencing and mesh that I use, simply to keep projectiles from coming through. So if I'm under heavy attack, I can come in here and I can fire through this door and not worry about getting rockets in my face. These paintings are from Atom Bomb. I think that's what it's called. Again, full list of it. I got a link to a Google Doc with a full list of mods and links, and it's in there. Very cool. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, this painting is crooked. Yes, it is crooked. I try to pay attention to when I place these freight containers, the ground they're sitting on, and you can see some of them are crooked. I wanted them to look like they were actually stacked there. And so I tried my best I could to get that painting at the same angle that the freight container it's on is at. I'm a little off, but it's okay. It's okay. There's some storage in here. This is going to be storage of spare power armor frames, and then these lockers are for spare power armor parts. We got some basic... I got some power armor stations wherever I could squeeze in the space, but most of the power armor workshop is upstairs. I'll get to that. There's one more storage area that I totally forgot I want to show. Now, it's out here. Now, there's a lot of lockdown controls up there, you'll see. And there, I can lock it down just here, or this place is kind of compartmentalized. I could lock the workshop down from here. I could also lock down all the way up to here, giving me all of this room to move around and shoot from if I need to defend the settlement. So that said, this storage area here is not necessarily out of reach, even on lockdown. This will be some kind of storage area. Not quite sure yet. Haven't really gotten to that. Now, let's go upstairs. Let's check out the control room and my power armor work areas. I've had very little trouble with settlers coming in here. Only once did I find a settler in here, so I'm very pleased to see that because I do not like them in my personal space. Up here, there's only one suit of power armor. This is, the idea is, I always like to display my power armor, and I know that as this character gets further in the game, she will collect many more suits of power armor, and I thought it would be very cool to line them up along here. Very cool when you walk in the workshop and you look up, and I've tried to aim the lights. I got some spotlights up there pointing at various directions, as you can see, to light up the power armor. It should look pretty good once they're all up there. That's my current set that I'm wearing. And here is my kind of my little power armor work area here. This is my advanced engineering workbench. I think I got this from Tamba Jamba's power armor mods. I think I can use this to build his power armor sets. But that aside, it just looks very, very cool. It looks like a cool power armor workbench. Okay, so here's the control room. And it looks a little like, what the fuck, Darkdally? Okay, first of all, it's not as complicated as it seems. Not as complicated as it seems. I'm explaining all this to you, all the functionality here, what I can do. First of all, get this whole upstairs. This whole area is designed to be locked down, and this functions like a panic room, if you will, if I get overrun or if enemies start spawning in the base, because with the mod large settlement raids, you can get raids up to 50 enemies. And with the Raider Overhaul mod that I run, Raiders are pretty fucking gnarly. They're not someone you want to mess with. The thought of potentially 40 or 50 of them swarming my base, I wanted a panic room. So let's take a look at this room first and just the controls for it. Now it has a basic door on each side, which I can close. And I will go over all these labels too. Labeling is a very good idea, by the way. Now, and I also have a gate that closes over the window. If I'm taking fire from out there through the window, I can hit this, and that closes the shutter over this window. So now I'm totally safe in here. The problem is I can't fire out. I have a few options for that, actually. One of those is right here. Turning this switch, that turns my defenses on. It turns my turrets on. So as you can see, my defense is now 28. And then we'll just exit out of build mode. Flick that switch back. Go back into build mode, and I believe my defense is 4. It's 4 without it. So that switch right there turns on my turrets. Now I have an extra switch here, which is not hooked up to anything yet, but it's here if I want a second circuit of turrets. I thought about having some hidden turrets here in the workshop area or something, but so if I do in the future, I have a spot for that. Let's go ahead and open my shutter back up. I really don't need that. Now, so if I'm locked in here, and if I do want to shoot out, I have a couple options for that. Each of these doors has a secret sliding jail door. Each one of these has one of these. So this way, I can still shoot out through here, stay safe, take cover. If I'm taking too much fire from that side, I can still close the door. So yeah, I've got like super double protection here. It's a little paranoid, a little crazy, but I really like doing this. I really love designing defense systems, and so this is all really cool. Now, there's more. Oh, there's much more. Next, I want to show you the shutters. All of these windows here, as you may have seen from the outside, have shutters. These make great firing points, and if for whatever reason I want to close them, that's what this is for right here. And that's one of my favorite features of this is I can completely lock this place down. Completely lock it down. This switch is simply a direct control. That's what the D stands for, by the way. I'll go over my coding here. It might not be a bad idea. It might be a decent tip for some people. And so that's cool. I never get tired of flicking this switch and watching all the shutters open and close. They're simply sliding doors from Homemaker. I've simply used Place Everywhere to put them outside the thing, wire them up with power doors, remote control, and lock. That's what each of these conduits are. Pretty simple stuff. It's just one wire that runs along here and goes to this switch. So now I do want to talk real quick before there's still more to show. But so my lettering system, I got a lot of I's and O's here. As I started getting more and more conduits, a lot of these switch have a designated input and output because the electricity, for whatever reason, usually because of logic gates, needs to flow, in one way out the other. So that's what I have I/O. Like right here, I know this is the input and that's the output from that switch. And likewise for that switch. It kind of becomes handy once you get so many. Now on the switches themselves, the top letter is the kind of control the switch is. If there's anything here, it says whether or not it's a logic gate circuit, because that can mean something to me. Right here is any extra designation I need, and then here is what it actually is. This is a direct control, meaning this is just wired directly into the circuit for the inner shutter. So I know it's this one. This is, again, wired directly in line. There's no other switches. This is direct control of the outer shutter. That's what those mean. Now, some of the other ones, and some of these have indicator lights. It's because they're running off things with logic gates, and it just gives me some handy info that I may like to know. Some of these say SS and some say PS. It simply means secondary side, primary side. It's electrical jargon. And basically what that means is which side of the circuit this switch is on. These are like just directly in line with the circuit. Some of these, like for instance, SS secondary side, that means this is after the logic gate, right before the doors. This is on the secondary side of the circuit. And this light means that the logic gate is getting power. And this light right here, so it means not logic gate. This is actually not, okay, I said on the secondary side of the logic gate. It's on the secondary side of the other switch. This is a master control, not logic gate. So this is not a logic gate circuit. This is the jail outer. It's that door right down there. You can just barely see through the control room window. Now its indicator light is lit up green because that's telling me that if I were to flick this on, that door would open. It's kind of like a warning. Just so you know, if you click this, that door is going to open. That's telling me it's got the power. And if I simply click that, then that will open. Now that switch is on. That's the master control, and it's now letting me open and close this. I know it looks complicated, but it's really just running wires. All of this stuff is pretty much single, simple circuits. The only logic gates I even use are for door controls. Now let's go ahead and look at the rest of this. This right here, I put a different switch. I was just tired of using the same damn switch, and this is why I really want to see a mod made to retexture some switches. I want some more options. I did use this one right here. This is just the front gate. Primary side is what that means. That means that right now, it's allowing the gate to be open. If I close this, because this is on the primary side of the circuit down there, that switch doesn't even have any power. So if I were to go down there to my main gate and my switch doesn't have any power at all, that's because it's being cut off right there. Okay, so that's basically the gist of this. This right here, bookcase, that's the bookcase door down there, the secret door. And this is the other outer door. I kind of try to put it as close as I could to the jail one. That's the jail one there. This is the B outer, the boxcar outer. And that's the outer door over there. So this can lock that down. Why do I need all these switches to lock them down? It's because if I have to retreat in here and I'm being attacked by 40 raiders and I'm not sure what I left on or what, what's open, what's left closed, this, with, of course, my own knowledge of how I set the circuit up, this tells me what is in what status, and I have the power to override anything right here. This here is that door to the house that I said I could lock it down to there. See, I can close the book, I can lock down the bookcase. Right now it's saying it has no power, which simply, see, the switch is not even on. That means that simply the door is closed. That just means the door is closed already. So this switch and all this stuff is off. That doesn't, mean anything. If that light were on, that would mean that the door was either open or trying to be open, but the switch was in the way, Okay. So enough of that. This is pretty cool stuff. This really, really gives you like serious security. I mean, you can lock this place down like so crazy. Oh, wait, we can't close that. Then we can't see the cool shutters work. Yeah, close all these. I love that. I love it. I love it. Okay. So now I said I had a problem earlier, and I want to work with you guys to fix it. I think I already have an idea how I'm going to be fixing it. Let's go ahead and open this outer shutter back up. Okay. So here we are. I got all this built. And then I came to the realization, these walls here, which are USS Constitution windowed walls from the mod Settlement Objects Expansion, are actually, and I didn't realize, I legitimately did not realize this until I got all this built, that they're freaking bulletproof. Now, a lot of you may say, well, that gives it perfect defense. But yet, it takes all the fun away. If they're bulletproof, I can't shoot through them. NPCs treat bulletproof windows as just walls, so they won't even recognize that they're there, so they wouldn't be even out here to shoot, even if I could shoot through them. It really defeats the whole purpose. The whole point of this place is I have a place to lock myself into, where I have ultimate control over my vantage points and shooting spots. But with these bulletproof windows, and you can tell they're bulletproof, see, it's throwing off pieces of wood. That's how you can tell. If I were to put something out there, I would not be able to hit it. See, I won't be able to shoot that floodlight. Those floodlights definitely ain't helping my frame rate. That's some of the reason for the drop. See, right now I'm still running in the 50s. I've dropped down to the 40s before when it's foggy outside with these lights. But man, they provide an awesome view out there at night. But anyway, so how do we want to fix this? Because I'm sure if you know anything with this kind of stuff, you've already encountered something like this where you have to rebuild a large area. And I'm going to want to store these walls. That's going to get rid of everything that's clamped to them. And some of these walls, like for instance this one right here, has a huge amount of crap snapped to it. I would lose all of this if I stored that wall or did anything with it. That said, my viewers who are on PlayStation, that's unfortunately your only choice. Now, if you're on PC, you do have options, and that is with Place Everywhere. So I'm going to go over that. I have an idea of what I want to replace these with. I think my best bet, because I like the shutters, I want to keep the shutters. I think I'm actually going to replace these with USS Constitution doors. Should give me about the same opening. I can have the same shutters and everything. And what I'll do is it'll be doors, and I'll simply block off the bottom. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. First, let me show you how you would fix this on PC. This is one place, a lot of this stuff you could do on PlayStation, but I'm sorry to say, I know a lot of my PlayStation viewers kind of feel left out since I've switched to PC, and I'm sorry to say that on PlayStation, at least I don't know of a way, unless there's a way to unclamp objects, because you see, that's the problem here. As I get rid of these walls, I'm going to lose the floodlights. It's not a big deal, but I'm going to lose the conduits and have to redo all of this wiring. Now, if you're on PC and you have Place Everywhere, now I do intend on making a tutorial for this. I do have an installation tutorial for it because it's kind of tricky to install. It's kind of intimidating because it has a lot of controls. So let me show you. I can simply press F6, and right there, clamped objects storing enabled. And I don't think we want that. We want to hit this again. Clamped objects storing disabled. That's what we want. I already had it toggled off. All I had to do is hit F6, I do that, and now I can store these walls, and everything that's clamped will stay. Now those doors were not, they were not clamped. Now I am going to be using doors, and I could bring those up here. Well, of course, right now it's being held open. I could bring the door up here, and I could snap it into the doorway, and you would think that would make it easier, but I actually like the look of them as shutters. So here's my proposed solution to this. Let's see if this works. This is just kind of my idea. I'm going to do this with one or two. Then we're going to go ahead and speed this up, and I will show you guys the end result. But this is how you're going to fix some of this stuff we want. U.S. Constitution walls, doorway walls. Please tell me this is what I want. Go ahead and put that there. Okay, these floodlights are going to have to go. No, not necessarily. Okay, shutters, they look like they line up well. Now what I intended to do was put that there, and of course I don't want a whole huge thing here, so what I intend to do is grab these guys. Aha, there we go. And now we can just bump this guy down a little bit out of the way. And this is going to work pretty nice. I think in the end this is actually going to work better. We can keep all the same mechanisms we had. Of course I'm going to want to fence this off. You guys know how much I love my fencing. So we're going to go grab that. The fencing I've been using, I access through Homemaker. Actually, you don't even have to go to structures. There's a fence. I think it's a thing there. See, okay, I can just put that right in there. I have Surface Snap on. I would turn Surface Snap off, and I can just put this right in there. All right, guys, and it's all fixed. Probably better than ever. It all works just fine. Now what I've done is I've gone ahead and done exactly what I showed you I was going to do. It did turn out to work really well. As I went ahead and I replaced all my, as you can see, I'm using pieces from the U.S. Constitution. I like the wood texture. I was using the windows. I swapped it to the doors. So obviously now I can shoot through these, and I place these balcony railings in front of them. Actually, what I did was, you probably saw this in the video, is, see, there's two here. I snapped one in place, but it turned out when the shutters closed, let's go close these shutters, and I will show you what was going on here. Let's close these shutters. It was clipping through because these balcony railings, see how they're kind of I-beam shaped? And the doors were clipping through the bottom. So what I did was I grabbed a second set and snapped them along the outside. Let me show you just real quick how I did that, how you can do that with Place Everywhere. Let's go ahead and open these back up. Let's go back into build mode. I'm going to show you the simple trick I used to do this. I've gotten pretty tricky with Place Everywhere. You see here I can just snap these into place now. What I did was, let me show you. When I just had this, and the shutters were closing, and the shutters were well, the doors, right, were clipping over this, and it looked bad. So what I did was, using Place Everywhere, again, I can highlight this and press the equals key on my keyboard. What that does, see right there, it says Object Parameters Stored. That stores that object's parameters. I would place a piece of railing, highlight it, and press 0. Not on the numpad, but 0 on the top row of numbers in the keyboard. And that copied those parameters to the object I just selected. Notice it disappeared? It's because it teleported directly on top of the other object. It just copied the parameters. So then I can just use the 7 and 9 buttons in the numpad. Use the 7 button to move this towards me. I just move these out to where I wanted them. See, it looks good. Let's move it out one more notch with 7. Move it towards me. And then, of course, it's kind of shaky and vibrate, so then I pressed 5 to stabilize it. And then I had a basis to snap these on, and then I just went and snapped these into place, like so. And that's how I did the second row of these. That really topped it off. It gives it a good, kind of gives it like a, you know, like a really high baseboard. It gives it a good little woodworking look, and it covers up where those shutters, aka doors, were clipping through. Now in the control room I had a whole mess here because I was using that big window and it was completely bulletproof. As you can see now, I'm using a regular warehouse window that's no longer a problem. The way I fixed this was basically the same thing. I stored this wall, I put one of those baseboards here, and it actually, with some work, snapped into place. It actually didn't want to snap here. For whatever reason, I had to snap. Whoop, it's still here. I had to snap one here. I didn't even notice this was still here. This is one way to get around when stuff won't snap. See, I couldn't get one of these to snap here. So I could snap one here. So I snapped this here, and then I was able to snap this here. Then what I did was I took a regular warehouse window, snapped it. But of course, it didn't snap here. It snapped to the ceiling. So then I had to use Place Everywhere. I had to use the numpad keys to, you know, move it down and bring it in a little bit so that the shutter didn't clip over it when it closed, which now it doesn't. Now it closes just like it should. And this shutter here is actually just a garage door. I forgot to show that, which Looks kind of crappy from the outside when it's closed, but it's never going to be closed when you're out here. The whole point is you close it from in here, and it looks good. Now, as long as we're uncovering stuff up, I want to go over some of that too. Where did I hide these little jail doors? Because that was a little tricky too. The doors that come in. Well, these jail doors are found in mini mods. I know that I got them from Homemaker. You can also find them in USO. And I placed them so that they simply clip through this wall. But this is a problem you may encounter from time to time. When closed, they extend past the wall and they stuck out here. So what I did was, I didn't show this. This was already done actually. See, I have these vertical posts here, and maybe it's not the prettiest thing, but it works. I mean, a lot of this is not. The garage door, you can see it comes down here, but it kind of, I lowered it down so it looks like the railing's kind of supporting it. I mean, it's actually pretty good until you start really nitpicking that, and you probably didn't even notice any of that until I just mentioned it. So that's this all complete, secure, and ready to defend against anything. Alright guys, so let me know what you think about my super secure build here at Starlight Drive-In, my Starlight Scrap Heap. This place is awesome. I love the sense of security I get here at Starlight when I'm working on my power armor or whatever in my workshop, and I know that complete security is simply one button push away. I can shut all of those, I can close down all of this, and nothing can possibly get me. It's really cool, especially when I hear the noises and the sounds of the wasteland outside, and I know that I'm perfectly safe and secure in here. Alright guys, so I hope you like this this video, this build, and let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm sorry, I know this video went on a little bit long. There was so much to show, and I'd be happy to go into how I did some of this and maybe help you guys design a similar system if you're a control freak like me. If you want that, I like the feeling of a cool little panic room where you're able to control every aspect of the settlement. You know, if you get swamped by ghouls or gunners or whatever, and you have one safe place to hide, but then you think to yourself, oh shit, you know, it's kind of like that, oh, did I leave the stove on, right? It's like, oh shit, did I leave the front gate open? You know, it's that feeling, and you have a place that you can hide, that you can control everything from. It's really cool. So let me know what you think, guys. I'm having a lot of fun here. There's still a little bit more to build. I kind of hit that point where my frame rate started dropping. As you can see right now, if you look up at the upper right hand corner of my screen, and if you didn't know, by the way, I always have a frame counter in the upper right hand corner of my screen. You can see right now I'm idling at 45, and usually everything in the game for me runs at 60, so that's telling me, okay, I've probably built enough here. So there's a few more things I want to do, but I still want to do some more videos here. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been a real pleasure. My name is Darkdally, and until the next time at the Scrap Heap, I will catch you all next time.